In this lesson, you will learn how to create atmosphere. The sky dictates the sort of mood and, again, the atmosphere of a landscape painting. So we're going to focus on creating the sky, okay? And I've provided reference images, okay, for the structure of the light which hits the clouds. And the clouds are the main element here of interest, right? Juxtaposed against the landscape, right? And so these references are to help you understand the structure of the light, the values, okay, that create the cloud, the atmosphere, the feeling, okay? And so the clouds themselves are soft in relationship to the hard graphic edges of the landscape itself, right? So we're going to continue to make reference to these clouds, okay? And the sky is vast, right? And if we look in a landscape, there's always a horizon line, okay? And that horizon line represents the distance, right? And so things that are in the distance are smaller. As you see, the clouds are smaller, and then as they move closer to us, as the space moves closer to us, the elements get larger, right? And that's true for all the landscape compositions. They have a distant horizon line in them, right? So, and you can see the structure of the values, the light, which is supported by a surrounding value, right? And then the parts of the clouds that are further from the light are darker underneath, etc. So these are the things that we're going to learn how to paint, okay? And so these template or reference photos are very important. And notice they're in black and white because we're going to use a limited palette, okay? We're going to use our complementary color schemes again, okay? To get familiar with the structure, we're going to use our primary colors as the light energy, and we're going to use our cool colors, our complementary cool colors, to support that light energy, okay? So here we go. So the first thing, we have to make sure that we have all our material in place, right? We have our water, palette, colors, hairdryer, brushes, and tape. And so we're going to tape down our piece of paper. We have a large sheet of paper, okay? And we're going to create 4 areas, okay? And I want to keep it nice and straight, nice and neat. Okay, and then we're going to divide the page itself into 4 areas. Right, I'm trying to put it in the middle. I'm kind of doing it by eye, but you can measure it out if you'd like. So here we go. Oh, and we'll need our number 2 pencil to draw, right? So each one of our studies is going to include mostly sky and then a little bit of landscape to juxtapose the soft sky against the hard landscape, right? So I'm going to look at my cloud references for inspiration, okay? And it's not that you're going to copy this, you're just looking at this for the value structure, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to draw in my little landscape here, and I like to include a little, like a coastline kind of a thing, okay? Maybe some mountains, islands, right? that horizon line, right? And then I'm going to draw in, and notice I'm drawing nice and light, okay? So there's going to be some clouds in the distance, okay? They're smaller, right? Clouds, and then clouds might get larger, right? And I'm going to emphasize a real large cloud kind of a thing, okay? Right, and so there's a sort of a preliminary sketch. I am going to make a conscious decision about my light source direction. So I'm going to make my light from the left to right. Okay, that's going to be my light direction. Okay, and so the first color combination that I'm going to use is I think yellow and violet, okay? So here we go. What I want to do is first wet down the area, okay? And I'm going to use the large brush with the water. Okay, I got nice clean water, and I'm going to spread, okay, a nice even amount of water. Okay, and that water helps to create a soft application of the pigments. Okay, and so I'm going to lay out some yellow. Okay, the yellow is going to represent the light energy. Okay, and I'm going to apply my yellow generously throughout the whole image. It's going to dictate the atmosphere of the painting, right? And I'm going to sort of apply the yellow in a manner that already supports my design, my drawing. Create some brighter spots at the top of the clouds, maybe. But it's dominated by that yellow color. Okay, and so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to dry this just a little bit, not too much. We want to keep it fairly wet because we're creating that soft atmosphere, okay, which are the clouds. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clean up my palette, remove the yellow, and I'm going to mix up the complement of the yellow, which is the violet, okay, which is what? Blue and red. Okay, I'm going to switch to my round brush. Where are you? Okay. And so here we go. So here's some, we're going to mix up a little violet. So it's blue. And red. Okay. Mixes up rather quickly. And so now I'm going to, again, we're going to harness the light, right? So those bright edges, I'm going to put that initial light value, and we're always working from light to dark. I'm going to put that value in the background behind the clouds, right? Right? And I want to bring in some water to soften things up a little bit. Right? And we're working from light to dark. And so I'm working very, very soft in the beginning. Okay? And I'm going to indicate my landscape. begin to define it. Right, and so these are my values. Deepen them a little bit and put them where they belong. And let's look at our template again. Okay, and so you can see how these edges are bright, and then it's darker underneath. Right, so, and my light source is on the left side, so, and I'm just touching in, gliding in my values. Right, so these clouds are kind of in the distance, right? I'll bring in some water to soften it a little bit. Right, so now I'm gonna put in some smaller clouds in the distance. I'm gonna soften it up a little bit. Okay. Now I'm going to again go back to the issue of the landscape part, right? And we had a large mountain there, like an island structure. Okay. And we could go in there and soften things up a little bit. Okay. Add some more subtle value, right? And the light is coming from left to right, so on this side it's going to be darker. And the light structure is very important, right? So I'm underneath the clouds. Underneath. Right, and we'll let that dry a little bit. Right, and now we're going to just make that landscape contrasting the sky by making it nice and hard graphically. I'm going to use a darker value of violet. Right. And you can use a little water to soften the edges of things. Okay. And there you go. There's your violet and deep violet, and my darker graphic elements are going to be in the foreground. Right. And see how the landscape contrasts the atmosphere of the sky. Right, now I can take a sharper brush to add some of the detail. The sharpness is important to sort of juxtapose the sky, contrast with the sky. So I'm gonna add some details in the foreground, right? Things closer to us, sharper. And you can see how the land plays an important role in its presence next to that soft sky, right? And I can maybe add one more layer of values here where it's the darkest, right? Nice and easy. Soft. Soft. Small clouds in the distance. Okay, and there you go. All right, we can draw it now. Soften these edges a little bit. Working soft. Okay, and there you go. Further from the light down here, so I'm going to emphasize. Right. Okay, and so there you go. There's the cloud study in yellow and violet. Okay. So we're going to move on. We're going to do a red and green, right? An orange and blue, and then a black and white, okay?